What's going on, guys? So I'm going to be uploading this as kind of a bonus video, and something I'm probably going to be doing a lot more of in the next few days is releasing more and more videos kind of like this, just for people to kind of get an idea of how some of these new 7 Deadly Sins characters perform in PvE content. I'll be doing formal reviews on these things here in the coming weeks, but I just wanted to kind of get these videos out to you guys so that you can kind of form some informed decisions around whether or not you want to pull for some of these characters. So I've been testing out Merlin pretty thoroughly in Guild Raid Lunatic. I have not had a chance to try her out in some of the other various Guild Raid modes so far yet, but thus far, from just the preliminary findings that I've had, she is very, very strong in PvE for Guild Raid, especially right now. So basically, what you would use her for mainly, and what you'll see me using her for in this, and this is still some pretty early on footage, I've only had maybe 48 hours or so, if that, to kind of tinker around with her and try her out in some of these different modes, but I've been using her primarily as a shield killer. So basically what you'll see in this video, and I'm still trying to get all the rotations and patterns down for this team, but basically what I'm using her for is to get the shield down whenever the Starlight is applied from my Athena or your Elizabeth's or whoever it is that you're using for Starlight source when it comes to Guild Raid Lunatic. And thus far, getting 400 plus million damage is fairly easy to attain. It's not necessarily that difficult, even with the current state of things as Guild Raid is concerned. You know, there are quite a few bugs. There's times where you'll use your finishing move and all of a sudden you'll just stop the animation and you will be on a cooldown and will not have gotten any of the animation or any of the damage. So there's quite a few little kinks going on still with Guild Raid Lunatic. We all know that there's still the issues with the PG gain and all the different things that are going on with Guild Raid right now that kind of make it a little bit more difficult than it should be, and rightfully would have been had they not messed around with things too much. But overall, as far as this is concerned, really I'm just using a full set of the maxed out 7 Deadly Sins stones on my Merlin, and in these particular clips I was actually using a Leah set on her. So overall, her damage output, very, very nice. Again, when it comes to her shield shred, she does a very good job. I actually would liken her more so to a character like Gonitz as far as her ability to take the shield down. So overall, she is definitely very strong in this mode, and if you're having trouble attaining the scores that you would have been able to attain prior using an Eileen or so and such, then she is definitely going to be a good option for this, as you can see. And I think I pretty much clocked it that she could take the shield from about 55% down to single digits on a single one of her finishers. So overall, my suggestion is to use her core finisher whenever you are trying to take the shield down and not her card finisher, because you tend to get more damage out of her core finisher than you would with her card finisher. That and her card finisher is kind of bugged in points too. I've actually had several instances where I've used that finisher, and again, going back to the point that I made prior, it'll all of a sudden just kind of, for whatever reason, cancel out the animation and just do nothing. But like, for instance, right here, you'll see how much damage and shield that it will be able to shred down. So overall, very nice in Guild Raid Lunatic. I think that if you are someone who is trying to find a good replacement for Eileen right now, you could definitely do worse than Merlin. She has a whole lot of potential in this mode right now, and I think that if you're someone that is still on the fence with these characters, my suggestion right now is definitely maybe just wait until the second banner to kind of form an opinion around all of the characters once we've seen their finalized kits. You know, they do have a bit of a bad habit and a nasty habit of going in and changing some of these kits after the fact, after these kind of preliminary looks at them on these live streams and so on and so forth. We've seen this recently with SS Athena and then with Merlin herself, although they are going to be amending that and fixing it here in the next couple of days. I think they said on the 4th we should be seeing that update pushed through with her getting her hyper armor, which I would say will definitely be benefiting her in modes such as this. However, she doesn't necessarily take that much damage in this mode to where I feel like she is any type of liability. In fact, she can soak a few nukes from him without having too much of an issue, even on the Lunatic difficulty, which tends to be a bit of a problem sometimes for some of these squishier characters against Guild Raid Lunatic. But there's not a whole lot you need to know about her outside of that. Again, I would say that if really I had to compare her to anyone right now, it would be very similar to Gonitz in her ability to go in and take the shield down in a very reliable manner. Again, this core finisher, as you see here, it just is very, very powerful against him. Again, like around 55% or so with the shield. She can get it down to single digits if he has Starlight on him and you use that core finisher. So, and again, my characters, she isn't necessarily as strong as she could be quite yet. I would say that I'm still kind of tinkering with things, and these videos here, this footage was actually taken before I was able to max out the stones, so there's probably going to be a little bit of an improvement there. Maybe not much. I think I was around level 8 or so on all these stones whenever I was doing these runs here, so that, and again, I'm still kind of learning the overall kind of juggling techniques. I did try a Tekken set with her as well, and I actually think I might approve of that more than the Leah set on her in this mode. And I'm trying different card sets just to kind of see what the differences are. You guys know how I am with that kind of stuff. I like to try and test all these different sets out and see if there's any measurable difference made going through and doing this. But then again, it does take quite a bit of time because you can't really get a good idea on a couple of runs. You have to do probably a good 10 or so before you really get a good idea. But I kind of like a Tekken set on her in this mode just because I feel like you can actually squeeze out, like for instance, you may have just seen right at the beginning when you're still trying to build up your meter with her, you sometimes are not able to squeeze in a finisher as quickly as you would like to, and you have to do a couple of basic attacks and basic strings while his shield is down in order to get yourself to that first finisher right at the start of the stage. By no means is it a problem later on in these fights, but at the very, very beginning without that set, it can sometimes be a bit of an issue. So with the Tekken set though, I can actually squeeze out 2 finishers before his shield is back up. So that is actually preferred on my end. However, I do realize that not everybody has a Tekken set. So it's one of those situations where I'm probably not going to be using that very often, just so that way this can be a little bit more inclusive. But again, I just wanted to bring this stuff to you guys' attention as kind of bonus videos. I'll probably do several of these for some of the other characters as I go. I still have not had a chance to build up my Melodies quite yet. I'm still kind of wanting to wait and see what happens with this second banner before I decide to do that. I had intended on putting a little bit of this footage into today's video for the chat and chill, but didn't realize that I'd put the wrong clip for my Guild Raid runs in there, so yeah, rip me. That's what you get for trying to get editing done at 4 AM, but hey, it is what it is, right? But yeah, so overall, I'm able to do, like I said, pretty easily upwards of 430 million or so with this team comp right now. And really, for those who are asking about stones and all of that, for Merlin right now, I definitely like the attack stones, but like I said, everybody is doing their due diligence and testing, but I think it's a pretty safe bet that as far as the 7 Deadly Sins stones are concerned, you can just go straight attack with her. There's no reason not to. It's not as if there are any other stone options for the 7 Deadly Sins stones that would make more sense. I'm still very much so wishy-washy on whether or not I like the 7 Deadly Sins stones all that much. You know, really, when you consider the fact that, especially on that 3rd stone, that should be definitely the better of the 3, being that it is going to be controlling your power charge as far as that secondary effect on it, and being that it's only good for when you're in an awakened rotation, I'm not as big a fan of it, if I'm being honest. I feel like there are definitely better stones. You know, really, the fact that you are getting the extra buffs for the attack is nice, But at the same time, I feel like, to be honest with you guys, if you miss out on some of these stones, you're probably not going to be seeing a measurable decrease in output for damage as if you would be if you would just go with a regular R stone that would make sense, that's going to have double attack on it. I mean, yes, you'll be missing out maybe a little bit, but I don't think it's something that is such a big difference to where it's just going to outright ruin or neuter the character in any measurable way. But at the same time, we are also going to be seeing new stones added in here soon, and I had briefly talked about this in the Saturday Chat and Chill, but we're probably going to be seeing those stones that are going to be more so geared towards specific move types. So like your blast skill ones, your strike skills, so on and so forth. And the blast skill ones would definitely be good for her, being that her skills are blast skills. Now, not all characters are going to be able to take advantage of something like that, but I feel like Merlin will be a character that will greatly benefit down the road. And I'm sure I'll be improving these scores. I think I can probably still, even with everything going on, hit around 500 million damage. Right now, it's kind of weird how everything seems to just be optimized for iPhones, and unfortunately, I don't run on iPhone. But I was talking to Steven, for example, and it just seems like they have not optimized this game for Android at any point, which is really sad. Especially, we see this right now with a lot of these bug reports. We're hearing a lot of it is just almost solely on an Android side, and iPhone is not having anywhere near the amount of issues it seems like Android users are. So, not to make it a Android versus iOS situation here, but it definitely appears as if it's one of those instances in this situation. But yeah, that's pretty much going to be the video, guys. I just wanted to do a bonus video for all of you so that you could kind of take a look and see for yourselves how she performs. And by no means is this the most amount of damage I feel like I can personally get out of her on this, and by no means is this the most amount of damage I've seen from her in this mode yet, but this should at least give you further fuel to the fire that she is worth pulling. I definitely feel like Merlin is a extremely strong character, and I feel like you guys are safe to invest in her. So good luck on your summons. I hope you guys get the characters you want, whether it's Merlin or otherwise. I will again be bringing you more bonus content like this in the future when I have time, but I just wanted to bring this to you guys' attention so that you could see how good she can be in this mode. I will let you guys finish watching this, but you all enjoy your weekends, have a safe and happy holiday, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.